So now that we have our chart created, we can start tweaking it a little bit and format it the way we want it to look. Each of the chart elements is independently editable. If I click here, I'll see that I have the vertical axis selected. It's got those dots around it. And if I go up to my Format tab here, I've got some word art styles I can apply. I can change the text color here. I can just hover over these word art styles to see what it's going to look like. And if I look over here in the current selection box, it shows me that I have the vertical axis selected. If I want to, I can change the chart element that I want to edit. And if I click this Format Selection button, this gives me a big formatting palette. Let's say that I want to change these numbers to be formatted as currency, since we're talking about money. I can go to the number option here and choose currency. And you'll see that it gives me dollar signs here. If I don't want those decimal places, I can change this to 0. And when I close this, it should apply it there. I can also just select and right-click any chart element, and this gives me a little formatting palette. And whatever changes I make, it's just going to apply to whatever element I have formatted at the time. I can also get that same window of formatting options by right-clicking and choosing Format Axis. And I'm back here. If I go over to my Chart Layout tab, I've got some options here. Under Chart Title, I can choose to insert a title. I'll choose Above Chart. This puts a title in here, and I can just double-click in here and enter a title for it. I can also add in some axis titles. Let's say I want to put a title for the horizontal axis. I can call this Months. If you ever happen to click outside your chart, you're going to notice that the chart tools disappear. Just select your chart to get them back. I can add a vertical axis title. I like the rotated title. And again, I can click in here. This is useful if you have amounts that you're displaying in thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. You can type that in here. Amount in thousands. In this case, we're not showing it in thousands, so I'll delete that. In the legend section here, you can choose where you want to show the legend. I could put it up at the top if I wanted. Data labels gives you labels that show the actual amounts of what each of these columns represents. It can get a little bit messy, so in this case I would probably just leave those off. Data table gives you a little table right underneath your chart. Need to make this a little bigger. That shows you the actual numbers involved. You can even choose if you want to hide your axis labels. Grid lines right now, the horizontal grid lines we're seeing are the major grid lines. If we wanted to, we could add minor grid lines, which give us much finer detail. Can do that for the horizontal or the vertical axis. The plot area is this area back here just behind where the data is. If you wanted to, you could go to more plot area options here, and you could make that area color if you wanted. Just to give you another example, I'm going to delete this chart here, and I'm going to make another one with this data here, which is going to be a time-based chart. So I'm going to do Insert, and let's do this as a line chart. So this was a little fake data table of how many students we had enrolling on a given day, and you'll see that it kind of goes up and down. And it's put the dates on the horizontal axis here. But it's kind of given us the dates at random. And let's say we just want these dates grouped by month. I'm going to click to select that horizontal axis. And if I right-click it, I'm just going to move this up so you can see. I'm going to choose Format Axis. And in this Axis Options section here, for the base unit, I want to change this. I'm going to choose Fixed, and I'm going to switch it to months. If I close this, you'll see that it's switched to just one value for each month. And in this case, our line column is not making that much sense anymore, so in this case we might want to go back over and switch this to a column chart, which will make a little more sense.